Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Let's go over the ask.
Asking for money?
And like,
Well, everybody wants to make this really hard, okay? Let's think about it for a second. If you were going to give somebody some money, what would it take? Would it be would it be a letter in the mail? Would that get you to do it? No. Would it be a ticket in the mail to some fish fry? Probably not. Would it be an email? Maybe, but probably not. So what would it be? It would be this. Rich, would you mind giving me $50 for my campaign by Thursday? And I sit here and I shut up and I look at Rich and I let Rich tell me yes or no. Rich doesn't want to give me the $50, but because I've asked him, he feels somewhat inclined to do it. He might, and so his typical response would be to say no, but because I've asked him, I've engaged his, his heartbeat starts to go up. He starts, I hate to say no, I feel bad, no. Rich says, I'll give you 25. You say, that is great, thank you so much for your help. I'll send you out an envelope, or you can go right here, Rich, to my website. Shall I send you out a follow-up email? Sure, fine, blah, blah, blah. You send a follow-up email, or a letter, or an envelope. If you don't do that, folks, you can get $100 in pledges. My experience is, through the years, if you take the amount that's pledged and you give them no follow-up after the initial ask, you get about 25 to 30% of that money actually come in. If you send them more than 2 pieces of contact after that, the percentage goes clear up to 68, 70, in that neighborhood. If you only contact them once, it's about 50%. So you got to ask them, make them say yes, then remind them twice. Then you get 70% of the total amount pledged. Okay? So if you want to raise 100 grand, you really got to get 130 or 140 in pledges, because you'll have that amount of, the bullshit factor, if you will. They're just not going to do it. They'd rather say yes to you than say no to you, even though they know they're not going to give the money. Okay? Here's another example. Discover calls you on the phone, tells you, you used my credit card, you owe me $42.08. And you say, they say, you owe me some money. And you say, okay. And they say, will you send me some money? And you say, okay. What would you send them? 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 30 bucks? But if Discover sends you a bill and it says you owe me $58.10 by June 26, or you're going to pay me interest, what does the human mind typically do? Pays that exact amount, about 2 days before it's due, right? Isn't that what we do? Most people. So when you're raising money, it's not good enough to say, well, can you give me some money? They go, sure, have a great day, and walk away. Fine. Raising money is, will you give me $100, Stuart, by Thursday? And can I count on you? Shut up. They'll answer you right away. Whatever that answer is, you'll get 70% of it if you then email follow them up and send them a letter in the mail. If you leave them alone, you'll get nothing. Okay? And to say you're having fun, you say you're doing fundraising when all you do is send out letters or have parties, or you get a committee together and they're going to raise the money for you. These are famous things candidates do, of course, Get a committee together, the committee will raise the money. Well, the committee's fine, but just like everybody else, you got to say to the committee guy, you're going to give me your $1,000 by the 1st of October, right? And you got to make them say yes. A lot of people sit on these committees and say they'll raise money, and they just go in to have coffee and see what everybody else is doing. They're not going to raise you any money. They're busy. So don't joke yourself when you're raising this money, folks. I see it all the time, year after year of candidates, especially small candidates. I'm going to have a chili roast. We're going to get all this money. Yeah, no, you're not. You're going to ask everybody you know for as much as you can bear in your stomach to ask them for. And then once you get that, you're going to go back again and ask them for as much more as you can bear to ask them. And then when you're a month out of the election, you go back to them and you say, look, you've been one of the major funders of my campaign. You've helped me time after time. You own my stock. And we're having a one-day sale here in another 30 days. Can you give me just a little bit more? And they go, yeah, okay, fine. And that's who gives you your money. Twice I've raised $10 million or more. It was never beyond that first $3 million universe. See what I'm saying? So the people that gave them their first $3 million were the same people that gave them the next $7 million. Okay, almost 100%. Maybe a little at the end, people betting and thinking, oh, they're going to win or lose, or there's a little bit of that. And there'll be a little bit of that here if you're in a challenger race, and at the end, some groups or whoever might say, oh, I'll give them a little money at the end. I'm sure you've gone through this before. But fundamentally, it's those first early in givers who are like the owners of your company. They're the first buyers of your stock. Get them early and often, because you're going to need to go back. That's the deal. And it's everybody you know, plus everybody who lives in your area that's ever given to a Democrat.